Hello, Mrs. O'Connor here to review what has happened in the Glass Castle thus far. So we read up to page 115, and let's start from the beginning. So we enter into the memoir with Jeanette Walls as an adult who comes across her mother in the streets of New York City. Jeanette is presented as a successful professional, and her mom is homeless, and Jeanette is ashamed to come across her, and she struggles with this inner conflict on how to best handle the situation. The novel then flashes us back to our hot dog making 3-year-old who catches on fire and is hospitalized. But Rex Walls breaks her out Rex Walls style, called the skedaddle, and they skedaddle a lot. This nomadic lifestyle is traumatic for the children in this family. They have inconsistent education, inconsistent health care, and Rex Walls is a substance abuser. He's an alcoholic, and he can be quite volatile at times. So, as they're moving around, there's one scene where Jeanette Walls falls out of the car, and takes them a long time to realize that she's even missing to come around and come get her and pick the pebbles out of her skin with tweezers. So they eventually do somewhat settle down in the mining town called Battle Mountain. And so Rex Walls does have a job in the beginning, and the kids do like exploring the desert. They get in an altercation, but for the most part, this isn't a bad thing. The mom has an outdoor piano and is doing her art, and things take a turn for the worse as Jeanette comes across Billy Deal, and this is an older young teenage boy who does end up sexually assaulting her after begging her to be his girlfriend. She's saying no. He does claim that he raped her, and Jeanette doesn't quite understand what this means because she's so young, which makes it that much more unsettling for us as readers. And then while they're in Battle Mountain, the dad ends up taking his son with him as he visits a prostitute, and he's outside the door reading a comic book that he ultimately makes him give to the prostitute. So trauma on trauma on trauma thus far. The mom does end up getting a teaching job here in Battle Mountain to help them with some of the financial insecurities because they were out of food, and the mom stole a can of food that she didn't end up even sharing with the rest of her family, which we all were quite frustrated with, and we had to watch Jeanette and her sister sharing a bar of butter to, get by. But they end up having to leave Battle Mountain because of the scene where Billy Deal attacks her home with a BB gun, and then the kids get out the dad's real guns to retaliate. And the legal mess is too much for the Walls family to handle, and they skedaddle once again. But all right, so in Phoenix, things are looking up. They have inherited this 14-room mansion. The school district they attend, the public school, tests children, hearing test, eye test, and Lori finds out that she's been almost partially blind her whole life, and she finally gets her first pair of glasses, and she's astounded by the world around her and gets extremely into art because she can finally see. And even though the mom says, "Oh, Lori, you don't need to wear those are just crutches for your eyes," which is absolutely insane. And then the dad's electrician job is great. They have groceries, the kids all get bikes, the family gets a phone, but there is a shady man in their neighborhood that actually does break into their home and inappropriately touch Jeanette Walls as a child. And the dad, around this time, does end up losing it with city life, and he takes the children to go pet a cheetah at the zoo. So dad is without a job again. The family is hungry again. And they decide to pour their energy into creating a Christmas big enough to heal this all, to get everyone back on the right track. And they all go to church together as a family, but unfortunately, Rex Walls shows up intoxicated and ruins the service. He ends up shouting out angrily to the masses, and then when they return home, he lights the Christmas tree and all of the presents on fire. And this is where we left off. We will return this week for reading pages 115 through 145.